welcome back. Special edition Lyme from New York. It's Thursday night right here at this fabulous Tick-Borne Disease Alliance Masquerade Ball. And thank you all out there for broadcasting this. I want to thank Epic Living TV. I would like to thank WBLQ. I would like to thank TTR Network. I would like to thank all of y'all other people picking it up, because if I forget any names, I know I'll get an email from you.
And our listeners.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Listeners.
Yes. Think twice, everyone. Katina Makris of Lyme Light Radio. I'm Dr. Pat of the Dr. Pat Show and Transformation Talk Radio covering this. Very special person today. Very special. I got to hang out with him when there was the almost like preliminary kickoff kind of thing on Martha's Vineyard. And got to meet him.
Last summer.
Yeah, I was amazed that I actually even went to Martha's Vineyard, knowing what I know now. But off in the world he went, and he led the charge. Bike riding across America. He still must come back to Seattle. John Donnally joining us here today. John, it's great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So great to have you, man. So have you been bored this year? I mean, I'm just wondering.
There's definitely parts of the ride that I miss. It was the single best learning experience of my life.
Yeah.
Every time I think about that ride, I just think about all the people that I met. And, they have a special place in my heart. And, I can now call them all my friends.
Very good.
And it was an amazing experience. Got off the bike in December. We finished in Central Park, and then we had the Senate staff briefing in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
And it was how many miles that you cycled?
3,700 miles overall.
Over 2 months in the saddle, right?
Yeah, 2 months.
Miles a day,
pretty much 100 miles a day, and then we'd have the weekends off to meet with patients and do media
events. And that's an enormous feat to all of you listeners and viewers, because John battled Lyme disease for a decade?
Yeah, I was first diagnosed when I was 13 years old, but I've been suffering with symptoms since I was 9. To look back, 3 years ago and think, would I be able to bike across the country? I had trouble getting to class some days, so it's amazing how I've gotten better, and just noticing and going across the country, how fortunate I've been. There's a lot of really sick people.
Yeah, and you're a true warrior on all levels. A
road warrior,
a Lyme warrior, and a personal warrior to have that inner strength.
Thank you.
And now you have a new position with Tick-Borne Disease Alliance. Tell us about this.
Right, so I recently started working for TBDA. I got hired 3 weeks ago, but this is kind of something I knew I was going to do since I got off the bike in December. So I'm going to be leading their social media.
Great.
I'm going to be putting together a junior board, so finding the next generation of Lyme disease advocates.
Wonderful.
The more I learn about these diseases and the more I hear, this problem isn't getting better.
Oh, no.
It's getting worse.
No. Yeah, it's getting worse for a lot of reasons. When you and I met, I shared a little bit about my story. I grew up in New Jersey, but I live in Washington State. And myself and my doctor were one of the first people to go to the CDC and demand a test. And, now there's a little bit of movement, but very little. And so when you say that, what it says to me is that we're going to have an enormous coming out party. That's what I call it. I call it our Lyme coming out party. Mm-hmm. What have been some of the hardest things for you to do in this 10-year period? How did you get past the shame and the stigma in society that you face, John?
It's tough. Even getting diagnosed in itself is a journey. It's a struggle. And so, the first time I was sick with Lyme disease, it took me 4 years. My family was very supportive, nothing against them. They were kind of like, what's going on here? They couldn't
Yeah.
understand it. The doctors I went to see had no idea what was wrong with me.
Yeah.
My
And as
teachers.
a child and as a teenager, it's so confusing. They want to
Yeah.
just say, oh, it's learning disabilities,
Learning
right?
disabilities,
Or
it's
mono,
behavioral problems,
right.
it's chronic sinus infections.
Ah, you're just a kid. You're just a kid.
Yeah, I mean, there were lots of challenges, and then finally I got the diagnosis. But then during college, I didn't know what was wrong with me again, had the same symptoms, went through the same process where doctors are basically telling me, you can't get Lyme disease twice. I don't know what you're talking about. And so, as a patient, it forces you to become your own advocate.
Yeah.
And even though it's a horrible experience, you end up learning a lot from it.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that I loved when I got to chat with you last year is to be able to talk with you now and seeing how much you've grown in a lot of ways. What was it like for you on the road of being in the face of people suffering, the pain, the hopelessness? What effect did that have on you, John?
It's real interesting because going into the ride, I thought the biking was going to be the hardest part.
I know.
I didn't know if I'd be able to make it across the country, and then
over the Rockies.
Yeah, over the Rockies, climbing all the elevation, doing it day after day. But what was both the hardest and the most rewarding part for me was sitting down with patients and listening to their stories. And these are stories that just break your heart.
Yeah.
Just human suffering in the flesh and blood. People who have lost their houses, have ruined relationships because of this disease, and because of the misconceptions that surround them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's just so many issues around these diseases. There's a lot of people suffering in their own private way. And like you said, I'm glad that the lid is starting to pop off. People are starting to be more verbal about this, and that's what's so important.
It is. I mean, for me, I went down that same path. I used my entire life savings to save my life. And a 14-year relationship because, your partner looks at you and says, holy crap, I didn't sign up for this. And then the stigma around it. All of that adds up. When you look now at the future and the role you have, what are you most optimistic about?
I mean, what I'm really optimistic about with TBDA is putting together this junior board. There's a lot of young people who have been affected by this disease. These are people who are sidelined from school and even getting full-time jobs because of this disease. It's going to go on for future generations, so kind of motivating them and becoming advocates ourselves, that's something that I'm super excited about. And then also just the awareness that's coming with it. I mean, you guys being here in of itself is a positive sign. And then to have, social media guys over there interviewing high-profile people like Debbie Gibson, who's performing tonight.
Yes.
There's a lot of positive stuff moving forward.
Yeah,
That was interesting.
It's really a collaborative effort on so many levels, and I feel like it's almost like the synergy is starting to line up in many ways. And that it was my honor to share those 2 months on air with you on Lyme Light Radio. I want to remind people to go visit LymeLightRadio.com and go press the archive link because they can hear our interviews as you cross the country.
Yeah.
And it's a really wonderful testimony as you gave us bird's eye views of different regions that you were in: Iowa, Kansas, Pennsylvania. We got to hear what Lyme disease was like in these areas. And thank you, John, for being that lens to the world and for sharing it with us. It was really a wonderful experience to partner with you and TBDA.
Yeah, it was amazing. And thank you for giving me a platform to share all those stories. You got me when I was in the thick of it. You got me, I think, one time where
I got you.
I was in an abandoned parking lot.
I know. And I remember, and I said, oh my God, he's live from Walmart or something. When I got you, and I said to you, I don't know if you remember what I said to you. I said, it doesn't matter where you are, you just are.
Yeah. And
it really talks to the fact that we have to have a voice. We have to have a voice. I mean, people like me have been threatened, and doctors have been threatened. because we don't live in Connecticut or Rhode Island or New Hampshire. We live in a place where we've had to battle to get any recognition at all. But the fact that I was from New Jersey made it okay to have Lyme disease.
Yeah.
A shout out to my New Jersey peeps right now.
One of them right here.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, what is the greatest challenge now? You know, what is the greatest challenge? What are we facing challenge-wise here? We're like this. We're going up the hill, right? Then we're like, okay, what's going to be the pothole?
I mean, you look at the funding that Lyme disease receives, the Tick-Borne disease receive, and compare it to other illnesses.
Oh, no.
And not to take anything away from what those people are going through.
Right.
But this is a serious issue, and the amount of funding it receives is a drop in the bucket compared to what other diseases receive. And until we get that funding, you know, I love that we're advocating, we're bringing awareness to it. We need science. We need the science to speak.
Don't you remember when we were up at Martha's Vineyard, the president was up there, and we did this broadcast to the president's up there, and we said to the President Obama, Michelle Obama, please get the T-shirt. I check for ticks. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.